Okay, really quick, for those of you that messaged me with your questions, I appreciate it, and I do have your answers here. I was kind of surprised because I had several women message me, and most of them were basically asking me the same question, just in many different ways. So, before I go over that, though, really quick, I wanted to talk about a training that we had today at my work at Patricia's. It was with Curve Novelties. They're kind of new to the market. They haven't been out very long, but a lot of their stuff seems very promising. We already carry a few of their products, and we'll be getting some new ones in soon. So excited about that. In the training today, though, we kind of struck on a point about how, we deal with customers every day that don't know the difference between different types of toy material. And so I thought maybe I could go over that a little bit in my video tonight. Um, there's so many different toy materials out on the market, and a lot of people, especially if it's your first time buying a vibrator, or you're just not real, you maybe you've bought one once or twice before, but you just don't really pay attention to the material that your toys are made out of, and it's actually very, very important. That's something that's going inside of your body. So, and you want to know about it. I would. So, the different types of, just some different types of materials would be your silicone, your PVC, TPR, TPE. Silicone is actually created through a process where carbon and sand are combined. And it's a non-porous material, same as like glass. Glass is another really good one. Not those non-porous materials, they're just much safer materials to have. The silicone is a little bit more expensive than some of the other cheaper brands, PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Um, it's basically just, it's a widely used synthetic plastic like polymer, and it's cheaper. So, it's cheaper to make those, and they're cheaper to buy. But you definitely get what you pay for whenever you're talking about a toy. And those more porous materials are definitely going to give you more susceptibility to all different types of bacterial infections or yeast infections, especially if you don't keep your toy very, very clean. Even sometimes if you keep it clean, it will cause problems. So another thing that people do is they'll put condoms over their toy, which definitely helps. So it wouldn't really matter the material that you had. You could just put a condom on it unless you're allergic to latex, but we do carry non-latex condoms as well. Anyways, I was just really excited about, some of the new toys that they showed us, and it was really interesting. It made me realize not a lot of people know the differences in toy materials. So I wanted to kind of talk about the importance of that for a little bit. It's really something to think of whenever you're going in to buy a toy. Make sure you're asking the sales clerk or whoever's working what is this toy made out of. And just because it says 100% silicone, I think the law is like it only really has to be like 80. It really only has to be a certain percentage of silicone for them to be able to say on the packaging that it's 100% silicone, and sometimes it's not really 100% silicone. It might be 80 or 70% silicone, 30, 20% something else. So, just something to think about. So on to our questions. I was really excited to see how many people messaged me, and, if you guys ever at any point have any questions, feel free to message me. Okay, so this first one, girl asks, I cannot stand oral play, but my boyfriend is all about it. Yeah, what else is new? So, she asks, how can I make it better or easier? Well, I shared a post not that long ago. You guys might look back, it was yesterday, about some tips from Cosmopolitan magazine. There's some really awesome stuff that a lot of people don't think about. Communication is really key. Like, whenever you're, no matter what, But, you know, talk to your partner, ask them what they like, ask them what they want. Don't just assume that you have to, like, deep throat the whole thing. It's not that complex. We have several different products at my work that help make it not only easier but more enjoyable. We have something called the helping head. It's actually a soft little rubbery, it's got some little nubs on the inside of it. It's almost like a smaller version of a male masturbator, but it slides down onto the base of the penis. And you use it because you're supposed to use your hand whenever you're, you know, giving oral sex on a man. You use your hand. So use your hand motions with your mouth. That makes it a little bit easier. Don't think that you have to just like put the whole thing, shove the whole thing in there. Use a little bit of that handwork, and it makes it easier on yourself. But something like the helping head, you know, you could get something like that. It just makes it that much more easier because there's much more sensation with the beads on the inside of that little thing, and it's pretty neat. We do have a numbing spray, which is for gag reflex. If you're someone that has an issue with that, not everyone does, but we have sprays, flavored sprays. They're pretty strong. You know, it only takes like 1 or 2 sprays, and like it numbs your entire throat. And because your mouth and your throat is numb, it makes you salivate, which makes it easier also. So we have numbing gels and numbing flavored gels, and then just flavored gels. If you don't need the numbing stuff, we have just strictly flavored lubricants and flavored oral sex gels that will make it that much better. If you're complaining about you know, a lot of people have an issue with the taste of like secretion. Obviously, it's what the person's secretion tastes like is what their diet consists of. So everything that that person eats is what it is going to taste like. You can tell sometimes it's acidic and sometimes it's sweet, and you can actually change the flavor of your secretion through the foods that you eat. Pineapple is a really, really popular one. If you eat pineapple, it makes your secretion tastes much sweeter. So if that's something that you're kind of like, oh, I don't like the taste of it, gross, but just some tips. So, okay, I had another girl ask about Ben Wa balls. Are they safe to use with an IUD? The IUD is the birth control. I would say that yes, they're safe to use with an IUD. I wouldn't say that they'd cause any problems as far as you just inserting them and doing the Kegel exercises. But there are people that insert those balls and have intercourse with them, and so that I probably wouldn't recommend. I don't know. I just feel like be careful. You know, pay attention to your body. So that's really kind of the only thing I can say about that. People do use, I mean, they are used for pleasure, but they're mostly a toning exercise tool for the vagina wall muscles. And, you know, if you're uncomfortable inserting, or the idea of something like that, or inserting something like that, you know, they have nowhere to go. I mean, they can only go so far up, so they will eventually come out. You don't really have to worry about them getting stuck or anything. Even if they got stuck for a little bit, like I said, they would eventually come out. You can push them out. But we have Ben Wa balls that have retrieval cords also, if that makes you feel more comfortable. So, the last question, this was the last specific question that I wrote on here. Or no, I have one more, sorry. Girl says, I cannot have an orgasm during sex. I never have. Is there something wrong with me? So this is not something that a lot of people know either. And I deal with this on a daily basis. Women that come into my store that think that there's something wrong with them because they cannot reach an orgasm through just intercourse only. So, basically, like, I don't know the exact percentage, but there's been several studies done on it, and it's like 80-something% of women can only reach orgasm through clitoral stimulation only. So, for those women that say that they can reach multiple orgasms through penetration only, and things like female ejaculation and all of that, that it is possible, and I'm not saying that it's impossible, but what I am saying is that they are not the majority. You are not weird. There is nothing wrong with you if you cannot reach an orgasm through other than through clitoral stimulation only, but you are the majority. So, with that being said, I always recommend, use a toy. Whenever you're having intercourse with your partner, you're gonna have a more powerful orgasm, but it's gonna be very, very hard for you to reach an orgasm without clitoral stimulation. That is the female's most sensitive erogenous zone. That is the spot that is detrimental to a woman having an orgasm. It's, I'm like I said, it's almost like like a myth or something. And I know women who have personally told me that they can reach an orgasm through penetration, but again, that's a person-to-person basis, and everyone is different, and so don't think that there's something wrong with you, because most women cannot reach an orgasm without clitoral stimulation. So that would be my recommendation, is to use a small vibrator of some sort while you're having intercourse with your partner. That way, it's a lot easier for you to reach orgasm. The last question I had was kind of similar. She asked, my husband gets off so quickly, and it literally takes me a while to get off. I cannot get off without clitoral stimulation. What should I do? So back to my other point, don't beat yourself up about it. You just really have to explore your body to find out what you want, and then communicate with your partner so that they know what to do. It's all about communication. So, vibrator, again, use a small vibrator. We do have clitoral gels and creams also at Patricia's that enhance sensation. Some of them have menthol in them. Some of them have a different active ingredient. Some people don't like the menthol. It can burn. But again, to each their own. That's why we have so many different products. We do also have products to help men last longer. That was kind of the other point that I got from that specific question. If your man is having a hard time lasting long, even if whether it's a problem or not, maybe he's just not lasting as long as you need him to last. Maybe he lasts, long enough, but you feel like you want him to last longer, or maybe you would, go again. A C-ring is kind of like my main suggestion as far as that goes, because if you put a ring down on the base of the penis, it restricts the blood flow, which helps decrease sensation and hold the blood in the penis, helping it stay harder longer. And then if you were to put another one around the testicles, a small C-ring or a cock ring is what it is, you can put around the testicles, and by pulling the testicles away from the body, that will help the man last longer. So anyways, I hope these answers helped some of you guys with your questions. If you have any more questions or would like me to go into any further detail, you can feel free to message me. Thank you guys again, and I hope everyone has a good night.